The First Crusade and the capture of Jerusalem, what would drive thousands of people to march thousands of miles through deserts and across mountains, risking everything just to reclaim a distant holy city? In 1099, after years of brutal fighting, bloodshed, and unimaginable hardship, Christian crusaders stood before the gates of Jerusalem. What happened next would shock the world, then and now. Let's journey back to one of the most dramatic and violent chapters of medieval history, the First Crusade and the capture of Jerusalem. In 1095, at the Council of Clermont in France, Pope Urban II delivered a fiery speech that would ignite the crusading movement. He called upon Christians in Western Europe to take up arms and reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control, promising spiritual rewards, most importantly, the forgiveness of sins. The response, overwhelming. Tens of thousands of men, women, and even children took the cross. This wasn't just a military expedition, it was a religious explosion, a social movement, a pilgrimage turned into war. The First Crusade began in 1096. The journey to the Holy Land was long, deadly, and chaotic. Many crusaders died before ever reaching their destination, whether from hunger, disease, or conflict along the way. But those who survived pushed on with a burning purpose. After years of brutal campaigning across Anatolia and the Levant, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem in June 1099. The city, under the control of the Fatimid Caliphate, was heavily fortified. The siege lasted for weeks under the blistering summer sun. Food and water were scarce. Morale dropped. But then, on July 15, 1099, the Crusaders launched a final assault. They broke through the city walls. What followed was not a peaceful liberation. The capture of Jerusalem turned into a massacre. Christian chroniclers described rivers of blood flowing through the streets. Muslim and Jewish inhabitants were slaughtered. The violence was extreme, even by medieval standards. It was both a spiritual climax and a moral catastrophe. And yet for many in Europe, it was seen as a triumph. The Crusaders established several Crusader states, including the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and for a time, Christian control over the Holy Land seemed secure. Here's a surprising detail. Some of the Crusaders didn't even speak the same language. Knights from France, Italy, and Germany all fought together under a shared religious cause, but often couldn't communicate outside of gestures and Latin prayers. Still, they managed to organize one of the most successful and bloodiest military campaigns of the Middle Ages. The legacy of the First Crusade is still felt today. It deepened the divide between Christianity and Islam, shaped European identity, and created a mythos of holy war that echoed for centuries. It also set a precedent for future crusades, none of which would match the shocking success or violence of the first. But perhaps most haunting is the question it leaves behind. When faith becomes a weapon, who truly wins?